As we grow towards more sustainable food systems, we're going to take a look at a critical component, and today we're looking at our fellow pollinators, the honeybee, and the different elements of their hive, whether they're found in cavities in the wild or in apiaries managed by beekeepers. Honeybees are social insects, and the adult bees are actually classified into three castes. So we have the queen bee, the worker bees, and drone bees. Now, typically, a hive has only one queen bee, um, unless, of course, the colony wants to throw in some razzle dazzle, and you could go in and see two generations of queens in your hive. But typically, there is one queen bee in each hive or colony. And then you have thousands of worker bees, quite literally the builders of the hive. They're the ones that build combs, they're the ones that take care of the broodness. They are the ones that facilitate almost all the functions of the hive, from foraging, taking care of young brood, cleaning the hive, defending the hive, etc. And then we have our drone bees, and these are the male bees in the population, and their purpose is to go out and mate with virgin queens. A hive usually has a lot less drone bees than worker bees, and as we go into their roles and functions, you will begin to understand why. So when we think about the queen bee, her role in the hive is basically to produce viable eggs for maintaining the colony population. Another important feature of the honeybee hive would be the combs that are drawn out by worker bees in the hive. And this is typically done when there is a combination of a few factors. One, there is adequate supply of resources, that is nectar and pollen. Two, there are bees that are at the right age for producing wax scales. Three, there needs to be a queen in the hive that is laying well enough to demand or to create a demand for additional combs in the hive. So, as beekeepers, we pay attention to the way in which the combs are built in the hive because the size of the cells actually gives us an idea in terms of what our bee population might look like. So, we will notice that the smaller cells tend to produce worker bees, while the slightly bigger cells produce drone bees. However, there are some times when we won't know until the cells are capped, and so if unfertilized eggs are laid in a worker cell, you will see the capping having a more dome shaped rather than being flush or flat against the comb compared to capped worker cells. Um, and the one that is most obvious tends to be the queen cell, which is sometimes described as looking like a peanut. Each cell is designed based on the needs of the hive, whether it is to store resources like pollen and nectar or to accommodate the unique characteristics of the different caste of bees that will be produced by the hive. Another important component is usually found in standard hives used for honey production, particularly when we think about commercial honey production. And that is the frames that are utilized in the hive body. And these frames basically help to guide the bees in the way in which they organize their comb in the hive. And some beekeepers actually add a foundation sheet that helps with determining the size of the cells that are drawn by the bees. And finally, you will find foraged resources in the hive, such as pollen, which is the protein consumed by bees, as well as nectar, which is converted to the honey that many of us have come to love, and propolis, which is often referred to as the bee glue, that sticky substance that they use to hold the hive together as well as sanitize to keep the hive clean and healthy. That's it for the important features of the honeybee hive. Please feel free to comment if there are any additional features that I perhaps missed in this video, as well as check out or be logic for this week.